I still can't believe you were in a fucking ska band.
Man, it was like some pretty mean ska.
You're just a closet rude boy.
Shit.
Just like your dad.
But I mean, we were pretty scuzzy ska. We weren't like, the nice polished real big fish ska. we were gross.
I bet you had a lot of like skinhead fans.
We did play a couple shows with, some of those patriotic skin types. It was in Lawton, Oklahoma. I don't know how it is now, but back in the 90s, yes, lots of patriotic skinhead folks there. And there was this band called the Doozers, I think. And I still can't remember if it was whenever my old band Snout Rockets played there, or if it was whenever we ended up joining with another band from that area and formed Humanicide. So they were like, oh, so it's like,
Humanicide fucking ripped though.
Oh, thank you. but it was kind of so it's the Snot Rockets. Oh, those guys that played ska. Oh, and they joined up with this other hardcore band from around here. Oh, kick ass. Let's book them. But then whenever they booked us, we were just fucking like way too drunk and way too obnoxious, and fucking we brought like a whole crew with us, and some fucking bullshit happened, and this fucking dumbass, I can't remember if his name was Coitus or Cojones or something like that, ended up like stealing some American flag, and they got super fucking pissed. It was from like a bar at the venue. And then everyone was wondering where the fuck it went. Nobody knew where it was at. He was swearing up and down. He had no idea. Wake up the next morning. He's fucking like, not only is he covered in the American flag that he stole, he's like grinding on it like in his sleep, like really hard. I think he might have had like a pillow or something, but he was always hunching something in his sleep. Hence the name Coitus. But, so he was like, just hunching the shit out of it, just grinding on it. And it was like, Jesus
That
Christ.
is fucking hilarious. So this guy's name was Coitus?
Coitus. Yeah, it was either Coitus or Cojones or something like that. I mean, we just had lots of really dumb fucking names back then.
Yeah. I had that growing up, but it was more like the goth names. Like,
oh, yeah.
I probably knew 5 different chicks named Raven, and then there was like Isis. There was actually one boy named Spooge, which is close to Coitus.
Which is funny because I know a whole bunch of chodes, too. Like, other than Chode, there was like a gaggle of Nicks, just a whole bunch of different like Nikolai or Nicholases. Is it Nicholas singular and Nikolai plural, or is it all Nicholases? Anyway, so there ended up becoming Nick the Mighty, Nicky the Cat, and then Cracksack, who later just became Coke Pouch. And then
what's like really cheesy though is when people try to give themselves a nickname.
Oh God, I have a couple of those. I know couple of dudes. When I was in high school, I ate acid with this guy that wanted us to start calling him Fangle. He said,
Fangle? Was he a vampire?
It was short for fallen angel.
Oh, so he was a vampire.
He was a scoth. He was into ska and goth. Both. He couldn't make up his mind. Up. But no, he was. But no, anyway, so he fucking just ate a shit ton of acid, and he was really into it. It's very profound that we call him Fangle. Like, all right, Fangle.
Like, while he was on the acid.
Yeah, and then the next day, we're like, hey, what's up, Fangle? And he's like, what? We're like, yeah, dude, you told us to call you that because it's short for fallen angel. He's like, ugh. Don't call me that. So, of course, we fucking called him that, and it stuck for life. He's still Fangle.
Oh, God.
Although I'm probably the only one that still calls him that. But no, that guy was always getting into some shit. And I mean, literally some shit. So,
oh, no.
Yeah, there was like this party, like we were still in high school, and we were, doing Snot Rockets, playing in shows and doing all kinds of just bad shit.
Yeah.
And so there was like this hotel that his ex-girlfriend was having a party, and the whole thing was just bad.
Yeah.
And so he was pissed off that there was going to be this party, after the school year ends, and like all of his friends are going, but it's at his ex-girlfriend's motel room, so he was pissed he couldn't go. There was a huge hissy fit about it, and so everyone's like, okay, well, whatever, he's just going to show up. He ends up showing up, and he's kind of keeping to himself, kind of quiet, but he's power chugging goddamn whiskey, and then he just kind of leaves. And, everyone was being cool at the hotel room. His ex-girlfriend actually was getting buddy-buddy with the people that worked there and shit. And they were smoking weed. And then, anyway, after Fangle leaves, after, maybe an hour or so, there's this banging on the door. They're like, what the fuck? And she goes and answers, and he's like, what the hell? I thought we were cool. I thought this was, and she's like, what the hell? What are you talking about? What's going on? And so she goes outside with this hotel guy, and then Fangle had shit in a napkin and wrote, you suck, like on the outside of her hotel room wall. And then just left like the turd in a napkin, just like chilling like right there, just right outside the door.
Oh, Jesus. That is some shit.
Literally.
Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx.
Hi, my name is Sabrina, and I have an irrational fear of palmetto bugs. If you don't know what that is, they look like giant fucking cockroaches, and I just know that they want to carry me away to their subterranean lair, never to be seen again. They are always after me.
And this is Matt, and I have an irrational fear of the pain of loss.
And this is Sumo Punx. Wow, that got deep.
That's no bullshit, though. I mean, I've seen them.
Yeah.
They run after you, and they try to crawl on your face.
They do, while I'm sleeping.
I have to save her from them with the fly swatter. I feel like a fucking battle axe wielding on the fucking battlefield. It's scary.
Well, I don't know. I think it's like maybe my pheromones or something they're attracted to.
No.
My sexy pheromones.
God.
I don't want to think about that though. It really freaks me out enough. I don't need to continue thinking about it. We actually have more important things to talk about.
To think about.
Yes, we do. Like the Banzuke. We're gonna talk about the Banzuke.
The motherfucking crazy Banzuke.
God, people must think we're fucking freaks.
I don't care. I'm gonna sing about the Banzuke, damn it.
We're here with all of our, fucking piercings and tattoos and colored hair and, battle vests and shit, and we just sing show tunes all the time.
Some punks we are.
Wow.
All right, it's Natsu Basho time.
Yeah!
And exactly 1 week from the time that we were recording this, we're going to be staying up late waiting to watch day one, and it is going to kick the assholes of many. I'm pretty fucking stoked.
Yeah, as I was taking the notes for this episode on the Banzuke, I noticed some interesting choices, especially in the lower ranks.
Yeah, it's okay. In the Makuuchi division, it's like from sideburns on down, it's just wonky.
Sideburns?
Oh, Shimano Umi. So from Shimano Umi on down.
I can't keep up with all of your weird nicknames for the rikishi.
All right. Well, it's just like pretty much everyone below sideburns. Remember the Nana Show, Nana High crew?
Umi?
Yeah.
Okay.
So part of that whole Nana Show, Nana High crew from the March Basho, they just kind of took all those guys, and it didn't matter if they got 7 and 8 or 8 and 7. It's like they just put them in a mixing bowl and then mixed them all up and then threw them on a cookie sheet and said, boom, bottom half of the Banzuke.
Yeah, because from Maegashira 9 or some shit on down, it's just
it's wonky.
Because some of them got 7 and 8 in the last tournament, and then they went down a half a rank or a full rank.
And then someone that got 8 and 7 got promoted 2 whole fucking ranks.
Exactly. And what is the logic behind this?
We tried to listen to Grand Sumo Breakdown to crack the logic, and it seems like even they were wrestling with this one. It was just...
Well, look at what they did. We have, of course we have Teruno Fuji, who is Yokozuna.
He's there. Even though he pulled out last tournament, he's still Yokozuna. I think with that injury...
Well, yeah, he's Yokozuna, so he stays Yokozuna until they try to force him to quit.
But because of that injury that he had, that's what I was going to say is...
if that doesn't get better, I'm wondering if he's going to just try to retire after a while.
His poor knees.
I know.
It's that foot that I'm kind of worried about. So then they did mix up the Ozeki, but there's only 3 of them to shuffle around. So
I think that definitely made a little more sense.
Yeah, it's not like they took a deck of Ozeki cards and just tried to do a tarot reading with them. So then we got Mitake Umi, Ozeki 1 East. He is the top Ozeki, especially with that fucking commanding performance he had during the March Basho. That was
his first time at Ozeki, wasn't it?
Yeah, his Ozeki debut. So proud of that guy. Kudos, Mitake Umi.
Then Shodai is now at Ozeki 1 West, down from Ozeki 1 East, because Mitake Umi took that position. Pretty shaky start in the Haru Basho, but then came back hard in week 2, ending at 9-6. No longer Katoban, and of course saved his Ozeki status.
Suck it!
Yes, so all of the haters can suck it.
And then Takakeisho, Ozeki 2 West. He had the least amount of wins in the last Basho among all the 3 Ozeki, but still saved himself from being Kataban. The Ozeki are all right. They're riding pretty this Basho.
Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with how they flipped those around.
I'm especially satisfied with Shodai. So.
What did we decide to call ourselves?
The Shodai Defense Squad.
The Shodai Defense Squad. That's right. And speaking of the Lost Basho?
The Lost Basho.
The last Basho, the winner of that Basho, Wakataka Kage, is now
Wakataka Kage.
at East Sekewaki. He won the Emperor's Cup. He had that very dramatic final fight with Takayasu.
Very dramatic.
Everyone thinks he's super sexy, even though Matt thinks that he looks like his Uncle Billy.
He does look like Uncle Billy.
What did you say? Something about, like, no neck having...
Yeah, Wakataka Kage and Uncle Billy both have no necks.
Okay, well, if you say so. I don't see it, really.
I see it. I'm going to have to, yeah. Okay. Anyway, so we down to Abi West Sekewake. He came out of the Haru Basho at 8-7, part of that Nanasho Nanahai crew. But Abizumo was still pretty fucking ferocious. Just arms flying, limbs flailing, fucking machine gun fire. It seems that a few rikishi are starting to kind of figure him out.
Yeah.
So, whenever he was climbing through the ranks, whenever his ass was on fire through Makushita, through Juryo, through the bottom part of, all the Maegashiras, now he's up at the top and he's got fierce competition.
Yeah,
So-
I don't know why. I expected him to do a little bit better than he
Yeah, I
did
kinda did.
the last tournament. Just a little bit better.
Especially since he had 2 consecutive Jun Yusho, January and March. Both the Jun Yusho being like a runner-up. Didn't win the Yusho, but still, it's like, come on, Abi, we know what you got. He might just be getting tired, or maybe that fire's dying down a bit. The one that helped him climb through the ranks back up to the Makauchi division. Or maybe the competition's just that fierce. There's some fucking heavy hitters up there.
We also saw that Hoshoryu, which is one of our favorite ones to follow these days, made it to Komusubi East. He went from west to east Komusubi, actually. Ended the last Basho at 8-7. And we will definitely be popping a couple bags of Act 2 for the Twitter drama from Asa Shoryu.
Oh, God. It just makes me wonder, is he going to block him again? Or has he never unblocked him?
I don't know, but I live for the Twitter drama. I really do. Like, how are you going to be that petty towards your own family?
I know. Also, sure, he's just mean as hell, though. We saw those old videos of him just, like, flicking people's heads and fucking slapping it. Like, I had already pushed him out and just slapping him upside the head.
Like, abusive levels of
he's just so mean.
Shitty.
And then next we have Daisho at Komusubi West. Back at Komusubi West after a brief dip into Maegashira 1 in March. And it's the battle faces. The power of his battle faces propel him forward.
Then at Maegashira 1 East, Takayasu. So he actually shot up from Maegashira 7 East after his spectacular battle against Wakataka Kage,
especially considering
in the last tournament.
Yeah, where he was in the Banzuke, last tournament compared to where he is now. I kind of thought maybe he might get some Sanyaku action out of it, but there's already too many people just crowded on there, just...
And I think also it may explain some of what's going on in the lower ranks of Maegashira, because there are some pretty heavy hitters in the top ranks of Maegashira now, like Takayasu.
Yeah. Ichinojo as well. Ichinojo's at Maegashira 1 West, moved up half a step from Maegashira 2 East. The top ranks are just fucking stuffed. It's just like, some sausage. It's just kind of breaking those casings. So the top ranks are just like overflowing with titans. It just makes sense. You just couldn't go up any further than that, especially with the Sanyaku ranks just on lockdown.
True. Then at Maegashira 2 East, we have Kiribayama. He actually went up 2 places.
And then Koto no Waka at Maegashira 2 West shot up 4 spots since March and 11.5 spaces since January. In March, he finished at 11-4 as well as a second consecutive Fighting Spirit prize.
Fuck yeah, dude.
He's at his career high right now.
Awesome. Then at Maegashira 3 East, there's Hokuto Fuji.
Maegashira 3 West, Tamawashi.
Mm-hmm. We have Endo at Maegashira 4 East.
And Takanosho at Maegashira 4 West. Poor guy. He just took a tumble from Komusubi. And what did he finish at? 4 and 11.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But I mean, the last tournament, there were definitely some people who did a lot worse than he did, let's say.
Poor guy.
At Maegashira 5 East, there's Onosho.
And then Tobizaru, Maegashira 5 West, up from Maegashira 9 East.
Oh, and then our boy, Ura. Maegashira 6 East, plummeted from Maegashira 1 West. His highest rank so far.
Yeah, that was his career high. But I'm thinking, even though that was a career high for him, I don't necessarily think it was the ferocity of the competition, although definitely an ingredient. I think it was either long COVID, maybe he just didn't get back up to his...
Maybe it was the new Mawashi not having...
that mystical ball sweat that his other Mawashi had.
Well, it is a different shade of pink, too. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? He's still absolutely entertaining to watch.
Despite not having his magical schmegma stains. And then we have Wakamoto Haru at Maegashira 6 West.
Yep. And then Takara Fuji at Maegashira 7 East.
And then Koto Eko, Maegashira 7 West, jumped up from Maegashira 12 East after finishing the March tournament with 9 and 6. So, Gambare, Koto Eko. All right, then we reach the midway part. Then we have Sideburns, Maegashira 8 East. Well, Shimana Umi.
Shimana Umi, you gotta say their actual names.
And then we have Salt Bay, Maegashira 8 West, Teretsuyoshi. And then Koto Shoho, Maegashira 9 East. And he was Maegashira 14 East in March, and then into the Basho with 9 and 6. See? Another one of those, where in the fuck does the logic come from?
I don't know. I'm happy for Koto Shoho.
Yeah.
But then there's Toshinoshin, who made it to Maegashira 9 West. He was down at Maegashira 15 West in the Harubasho, which he also ended at 9 and 6.
That's actually the first Kachikoshi he had since November 2020.
Did I tell you about my supervisor at work and how I was like showing her? Okay, so there's kind of a story behind it. I actually told her about the best buns poll that we had for like one of our first episodes. And then I was talking to her about that because I had showed her the video from the spring festival that you guys were at. And I was like, yeah, Tochinoshin is, kind of handsome in that car mechanic or mafioso kind of way. But I wouldn't say he necessarily has the best butt. And so she Googles him. And then she asks me, why does he look like a cross between Tony Soprano and Nicolas Cage?
Oh my God.
And all I could think of was fucking Tochinoshin, like, covered in blood, either as Tony Soprano or as Nicolas Cage in the movie Mandy.
Oh, God. When I think of Tochinoshin...
It was quite the visual.
I always just imagine him, like, in, like, an Adidas tracksuit with, like, some big old gold chains.
Oh, my God. Oh, poor Toch. All right, who else do we got?
Okinomi, Maegashira 10 East.
Okay, Yes. And then Nishikigi Maegashira 10 West.
That was a jump.
Yeah, he jumped up from Maegashira 16 East after the last Basho, which he also ended 9-6.
All right, then we have Aoyama, Maegashira 11 East.
Mm-hmm. Then Shiyoshima, Maegashira 11 West.
And then Myogiru, Maegashira 12 East.
Then Sadanuumi.
No, at Maegashira 12 West.
Gladanuumi. Madanuumi.
And then Uwiu, Chiyotairu. All right, Maegashira 13 East, and then...
Oh, Meisei.
Poor Meisei.
Yeah, Meisei at Maegashira 13 West now. Lowest score out of everyone in the last tournament. He was at 1-14.
Ooh.
He dropped 10 places on the Banzuke.
Ooh, at least he's still, in Makuuchi. Gotta give him that.
Yeah, true.
You better double up on those salon paws he's got on his back and kick some ass.
What is his deal?
His back injury. He's just all fucked up.
He's got a back injury?
Yeah, you haven't seen those big salon paws he's wearing on his back? It's like a Voltaren patch. And he's...
Oh.
You could see him like right above the back of
Is
his
that
mawashi.
what that's for? Okay.
Yes.
I don't know shit about shit.
Well, I think they're salon paws. They might be something else. But that's what I assume they were when I saw them.
Oh, then we have Oho.
Yeah.
Maegashira 14 East. Oho is up from Juryo, where he finished in March at Juryo 1 East with a score of 10-5. Congratulations, Oho.
All right, welcome back to Makuuchi. And then we got Yutakayama, Maegashira 14 West. He had a 7-8 record after March, but no change in rank, which is kind of fucked up because there were so many other rikishi who fell like half or even a whole rank after finishing the last tournament at 7-8. And it just kind of makes you wonder where the bias is.
Yeah, who knows?
Well, okay, so one of the things that I did kind of think of is like maybe they're considering the Rikishi's entire career, their entire record, and then maybe like...
That's pretty logical, I would say.
But-
If they had a past that was pretty fucking kick-ass...
Then maybe they'll get like the full rank instead of just the half rank.
Yeah. Then there's Azumaru at Maegashira 15 East, another one of the guys up from Juryo. He entered the Harubasho at Juryo 2 East and finished with 10-5.
So he got a pretty good jump up to Makuuchi.
Yeah.
And then Ichiyamamoto, Maegashira 15 West.
Mm-hmm.
And then poor Ishiura.
Oh, yeah, he was one of the guys who did slightly better than Meisei.
But got dropped 10.5 places.
Yeah, see, and that doesn't make sense because he got 2 wins out of the whole tournament.
But he withdrew.
True.
But he came back.
But still, Meisei didn't withdraw. He lost all of those matches.
Fair and square.
Exactly. He lost them all fair and square except for one.
True.
I mean, I would cut Ishiura more slack because he had to pull out for a while.
Yeah.
But they drop him a half a rank more than they did Meisei.
And then one of his only 2 wins was Fusensho.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he got one of his only 2 points in the March Basho by Fusensho when Endo was absent.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I think I was thinking of someone else.
There's 42 Rikishi up here that we're going through. It's, there's a big old soup of big sweaty dudes.
That's right.
It's, maybe they were like, well, why don't you go back and be in your Wolverine movie then, Ishira, motherfucker.
Take your genitalia back to Australia. I think I did that joke in the last episode about the Harubasho.
Well, whatever.
It's funny, okay?
It made me laugh.
Anywho, then we have Midori Fuji, another one of our guys promoted from Juryo. He made it to Maegashira 16 West. Shot way up, all the way from Juryo 6 East, where he finished at 12-3.
He really kicked ass. Mm-hmm. He was really fucking brutal back in there. And, he's contending with the likes of, like, fucking Ruden and fucking Inho.
I think I saw Inho was Juryo... I want to say he's at Juryo 6 or 7 East now.
Is
I could be wrong.
We'll have to check.
Yeah.
But we do have to do a brief check-in on a couple of guys that were sent to fucking...
Oh, wait. Did we forget the last couple of ones?
Oh, yeah. We forgot about Koto Kuzan at Maegashira 17 East.
Mm-hmm. Another one who made that 7 and 8 in March and was pushed down a whole rank, even though some other people were not.
And then we have Kaga motherfucking Yaki, Maegashira 17 West. Kagayaki, did he even go anywhere? Did he?
I don't think so. I think he just stayed in the same spot.
Yeah, Kagayaki's just always just kind of, going up and down from Juryo to the bottom part of, Makauchi, just doing Kagayaki things. He doesn't make a stink. He doesn't do anything spectacular. He's just kind of, just there, just flopping people around, slapping some fat, being Kagayaki.
I'm just doing my job.
Yeah, he's just like, all right, now I could go buy my new TV. All right, so then now we get to the dudes who were kicked down to Juryo after struggling so much in the March tournament. And we'll start with the first guy that I had in my fantasy picks from last time. It was Chiyomaru. He was at Maegashira 13 East and now at Juryo 1 East.
Yep, and then one of my guys from my fantasy picks in March, Chiyono Kuni, was at Maegashira 13 West, now at Juryo 2 East.
So we're not ever going to pick Rikishi for fantasy based on them just being cute. Seriously, those are the only reasons we picked him.
That's not the only thing that they have in common, though. Both of their names also start with Chiyo.
Yeah, aren't they part of the same stable?
Oh, you know what?
I think
don't know.
they are.
We're going to have to Google that.
I'm pretty sure they are. I think it's the ones where everyone has Chiyo in their name.
Wait, there's a stable where everyone has Chiyo in their name?
Yeah, there's also the stable where everyone has Taka in their name.
What?
Yeah.
Why am I just not learning this?
it all just, you'll start picking up that weird shit.
Oh my god.
It's
Sumo
great.
is so multifaceted,
Nuanced. Yeah.
and there's just always some little new thing to learn that just makes it so much cooler.
Yeah. And then Aqua. What was that we were reading? Was that on Tachi blog where fucking Bruce was saying that like Aqua was like the captain of the Juryo barge?
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was pretty much guaranteed that he was taking a trip down to Juryo after that last ball show.
Yeah, I mean, what did he spam the Kakanage enough? Maybe he just didn't spam it enough to, be statistically significant.
Yeah. Well, what else do we have? Oh, ooh.
Oh no.
You know what time it is now?
What time it is now? Fantasy Sumo.
That's right. It's time for Fantasy Sumo. So, tell us about your Fantasy Sumo picks.
Oh shit, it's time. Okay, so for Yokozuna, of course I have Terano Fuji. Who did you have for Yokozuna?
Oh, you had Terano Fuji? I had Terano Fuji.
Oh, shit.
Oh, what a coinky dink. Well, then who did you have for Ozeki?
Out of all three of those jolly boys, I had to go with Matakayumi. He is the shiniest of the moment.
That's right. He did do really well in the last ball show. I have to give him that. I had to go with Shodai.
Of course.
Because, again, goth solidarity. So who did you have for Sekiwake?
Oh, for Sekiwake, I have Sekiwake Wakatakakage.
Very admirable choice.
It's just
Very
fun to say.
admirable. Well, you know how I like the bad boys. I had to go with Abi. Even though he didn't do as well as I hoped he would in the last spa show, I really am just rooting for him. I think he's learned a lot in the past year or so, and he's been through enough experience now to where
He's
it's
leveled
just
up.
Yeah, he has leveled up. You can see it in his eyes.
Got a
that
fire under his
fighting
ass.
spirit is just, it's so much more immense now.
It is. It definitely is.
So who do you got for Komusubi?
Komusubi, I have Dai A Show. I have faith in this guy. I have faith in his battle faces. I have faith in his just urge to slap the piss out of everything in his path.
I had to go with my boy Hoshoryu.
Hoss.
Because I never liked to see the kids getting picked on in school, and I would always stand up for them. And it's even worse when you're getting picked on by your own family.
Oh.
So I had to go with him, and he's done really well.
He really has.
Yeah.
And his style of just
Despite
throwing,
what his uncle says.
Yeah. He just likes to throw the shit out of everyone. It's great.
Yeah, pretty awesome. Okay, so Maegashira 1 through 5. Who do you got?
Takayasu.
Hey, that is a good choice. Takayasu did very well. He could have won the last boss show. I actually decided to go with Kiribayama, who also did extremely well last boss show.
You know, he still gives me Elvis vibes. You know, I don't care what anyone says.
I don't see it, but whatever. So, Maegashira 6 through 11. Who do you got?
Tochinoshin.
Okay. Old Uncle Toch. Not a bad choice.
Old Uncle Toch did great last boss show. You know, the first Kachikoshi he got since November 2020, so I'm rooting for him, and I'm putting it on the line.
I had to go with Wakamoto Haru.
Admirable.
Yeah, I think he did surprisingly well in the last boss show, so I decided to go ahead and go with him and see what he gives me for this one.
Fuck yeah.
Then Maegashira 12 through 17.
Midori Fuji.
Nice.
He had a pretty significant jump from Juryo 6 East to Maegashira 16 West, so, I mean, it's still technically a little bit low on the Makuuchi side of things, but that's still a good leap, and he had, 12 and 3 in the last boss show,
Yeah.
I'm hoping he rides that momentum. I'm putting my faith in him.
Nice. Well, I also went with one of the Juryo boys for Maegashira 12 through 17. I went with Oho. He is now at Maegashira 14 East, up from Juryo 1 East. So let's hope he delivers for me.
You better deliver, Oho.
Well, hopefully I can do a bit better than I did last time, because holy shit. I think I really understand how this all works now a lot better than I did during the March tournament, though.
So you're not picking anyone because you thought they were cute, except Shodai.
Okay, well, some of them are cute and they are good at sumo. So
Poor
I'm
Chio no Kuni
refining.
Chio no Kuni let you down last time.
Yeah, he did.
And Chiyomaru let me down last time.
So besides that, looking back a little bit, we did have the US Sumo Nationals happen. That was last weekend. What was the date?
April the 23rd.
Yeah, April the 23rd. We
Salt
were
Lake
at that
City.
Japanese Spring Festival. But we were able to wrangle together a list of the winners of nationals for this year. We do want to thank the guys from
Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Who are all very much gentlemen and scholars for providing us with the majority of this information. You guys are cool as fuck. I don't know why it was so hard to find.
It really was. We tried for days. We were like, why can't we find this anywhere?
Yeah, it was bizarre.
And then I was like, you know what? You know who did commentary at that whole thing? Grand Sumo Breakdown.
We literally went through the recording from the live feed and tried to listen for each person's name, and some parts were just so hard to hear, but we finally have it all here now. So without further ado, here are the winners of the 2022 US Sumo Nationals
at FitCon in Salt Lake City.
You know what this might actually need? What we can do to kind of up our production value a bit? We should find a royalty-free Creative Commons version of Eye of the Tiger or some shit.
Fuck, we could just call it Fist of the Puma.
Tail of the Bobcat. Oh, wait. That doesn't quite work. Anywho, through the magic of editing, we'll put it in there. All right, let's get started. So for men's lightweight, in fourth place, there was Chad New. In third place, Justin Kizert.
Dark Circle Sumo.
In second place, Joshua Crook.
And the champion of men's lightweight,
Joe Ponsetto. So congratulations to you all. Then we have men's middleweight.
All right, so in fourth place we have Dylan Bjornley, I believe. Bjornley? And then third place we have Ryan White. Second place, Murat Malagali. And then the champion of men's middleweight, Jordan Karst.
Yay! Congratulations, guys. Next we have men's light heavyweight. For fourth place, we have Michael Fields. Then in third place, Daniel Avila. Second place, James Doyle. And the champion of men's light heavyweight, Cornelius Booker. Awesome job, guys.
All right, men's heavyweight. In fourth place, we have George Ferris. Third place, Robert McConkey. Second place, Angel De La Torre. And the men's heavyweight champion, Jose Galindo.
Woo!
All right, and then we have men's open weight. In fourth place, Gilberto De La Torre. Third place, Cornelius Booker. Second place, Robert McConkey. And the men's open weight champion, Jose Galindo!
Awesome job, everyone, in the men's competition. You all did spectacularly. Now let's hear about the women's. We have for women's lightweight, apparently the only person who actually was in women's lightweight this year was Liesl Rickhoff. So she ended up being the champion of women's lightweight.
Congratulations, Liesl. But we also see that she competed in middleweight.
Yeah, she did. She competed in middleweight as well. So for women's middleweight, she actually got third place. And then in second place was Helen Del Popolo. And then the champion of women's middleweight, we have Jenny Crook.
All right.
Great job,
Congratulations. Okay, women's heavyweight. In fourth place, we have Nicole Burgess from Mighty Eagle Sumo. In third place is Natalie Burns. Second place, Lady Galindo. And the women's heavyweight champion, Kellyanne Ball.
Awesome! Fuck yeah! And then, for women's open weight, in fourth place, we have Nicole Burgess. And in third place, Jenny Crook. Second place, we have Kellyanne Ball. And the champion of women's open weight, Lady Galindo.
Yay!
Great job, ladies. You were all awesome. We hope to see a lot more ladies next year. Hopefully, some people from Dallas Sumo Club will even be able to.
Hell yeah!
You know, we have my cousin Liz. She's been she's been going to practice with you guys, and maybe by this time next year, she'll be
trained to fight.
Exactly. We'll see what happens. And again, since this information was kind of difficult to find, if we got anything incorrect, please let us know, and we will correct it. Okay, so another thing that we really wanted to talk about in this episode is this movie that we watched recently. Holy shit. This fucking movie.
It was really good. It was really difficult to watch for me in a lot of places, but I'm sensitive.
Yeah, it was pretty difficult to watch. You know, you get attached to the characters and then you see horrible things happen to them. It kind of hits you right in the soul.
It really does, but it was beautifully done. It was shot very well. The atmosphere, just everything about the movie just kind of immerses you into this whole time frame, this whole very tragic period in Japanese history after the Great Kanto earthquake of 1923.
So the name of this movie is The Chrysanthemum and the Guillotine. It was directed by Takehisa Seize, and it came out actually in, what did you say? It was like 2019?
2018, 2019, something like that.
Yeah. So it's been out for a couple of years, but it just recently became available on YouTube. So we went ahead and purchased it and watched it. So we're going to give you guys a spoiler warning right now.
Spoilers.
Because we're gonna talk about some of the significant things that happen in the movie. We're not gonna talk about the ending though. That's for you to go and watch. So this movie is actually based on true events from history, with what is probably a lot of creative storytelling added to it. The movie starts with a little bit of text giving some background to the events, which says,
an earthquake devastated Tokyo and its vicinity on September 1st, 1923. It disrupted the lives of 1.9 million and killed 105,000. In the ensuing chaos and paranoia, vigilante groups, police, and soldiers massacred Koreans and socialists. On September 16th, Amakasu, a military police lieutenant, brutally murdered Sakai Otsugi, his wife, and their 6-year-old nephew. Otsugi was a leading anarchist.
So, here's a bit more background on what's going on in this period. This movie takes place in the Taisho period. This is the period that runs from about 1912 to the end of World War II. A huge fucking earthquake happens, followed by a brutal recession that left many people starving and destitute. This was the period of the Great Depression, after all, which affected most of the world, including Japan. On top of all that, the fascism is a brewing.
It was a brewing.
It was a brewing. So at the time the movie takes place, the last few decades in Japan had seen huge social change, and mostly not for the better. Women were forbidden from taking part in politics in any way, and they were forbidden from taking any sort of legal action. So, for example, if your husband was beating you, you couldn't take him to court. If someone stole something from you, you'd have to have your husband, sue them or whatever. At the same time, the Japanese government had been arresting and executing suspected socialists and their families, including children. This also included the anarchists and generally anyone even slightly trying to improve the lives of others. This is how the anarchist leader Otsugi gets arrested and then murdered before ever even getting a trial, which would have most likely resulted in execution anyway. So meanwhile, Korean unionists take it upon themselves to start helping people who have just survived this earthquake, feeding them and stuff like that. The Japanese police see this and flip the fuck out, like, holy shit, these foreigners are doing a socialism. And so they start just fucking slaughtering them. They just slaughter them. The Japanese government, embarrassed that they couldn't prevent the destruction of the earthquake, and looking for justification to get rid of the socialists, began spreading rumors that the fire, which caused 60,000 deaths in Yokohama, was started by the Koreans, and not by the gas lines breaking all across the city due to the earthquake. They also throw in some allegations of looting and raping just for funsies. So the Japanese government and many of the citizens kill half the Korean population of Yokohama, another 2,000 in Tokyo, as well as untold more in incidents that were never even reported. Because history is nothing more than an infinite loop of poorly justified horrors. Also notable that we're currently recording this on May Day, and it's a movie full of unions and socialists and shit. Cosmic coincidence? Maybe, but anyway.
So that brings us up to where we're at when the movie begins.
Mm-hmm.
The movie focuses on two different groups, a women's sumo stable and a group of young anarchists. One of the main characters we follow is Kiku. Her sister died of tuberculosis in a textile mill, as disease was rampant in many factories. So she was forced to marry her sister's husband and raise her baby. But of course, the husband was an abusive asshole. So she ran away to join the Tamaiwa Women's Sumo Troupe, which was essentially a traveling sumo stable. According to the narrator, women's sumo started in the mid-1700s and remained popular in rural areas up until the 1960s. In the 1920s, when the movie takes place, there were over 20 women's sumo stables. Notably, the oyakata of this group is a man. Predictably, and unfortunately, the male citizens really only seem to focus on whether or not their tits are going to flop out. The cops and soldiers also seem to think that women doing sumo is inherently lewd and try to shut them down every time they set up a tournament in any of the towns that they travel to. And on top of all that, it turns out Kiku is pregnant.
Of course, because that's what you need when you're already being harassed by the cops and just generally by various perverted men.
And then you're pregnant. Damn. All right. The movie also focuses on a group of anarchists from this time period. These were some pretty hardcore dudes. They would rob capitalists to finance their activism and give away to the poor. They also argued with each other a lot because leftist infighting is just inevitable. They're really into this dude, Otsugi, who's an anarchist leader known for his passionate speeches, encouraging workers to fight back against the exploitation of the capitalists, who are basically working them to the bone for slave wages, leaving them starving and dying. So Akamas eventually leads a lynch mob to murder Otsugi in his cell and dump him, his wife, and nephew down an abandoned well. A bit of an aside, Akamas actually ends up being court-martialed and sentenced to 10 years in prison solely because the Japanese government is pissed that he usurped their authority by not waiting until the trial. But when Hirohito became emperor, he released him after he had only served 3 years. The Guillotine Society find out about Otsugi's death, and they're super pissed that this dude they looked up to has been murdered. But they were also young, dumb, and full of cum. We're literally introduced to a couple of characters in mid-coitus.
Yeah.
So they don't really know how to plan their revenge. One of the members ends up murdering a guy he was trying to rob, and it's hard to tell if he meant to stab him or not, but it's definitely implied that he regrets it. So as the cops are chasing them, Tetsu and Daijiro decide to run away to Tokyo to murder Prince Hirohito.
Aw, damn. But on their way to Tokyo, they stop in a small town to stay the night with another anarchist group. At the same time, the Tamaiwa Sumo Troupe arrives in town to put on a 10-day tournament for the people. Of course, the men are like, ooh, titties! But when the tournament starts, they actually really get into it and start cheering the ladies on as they go against each other. This is also where Kiku beats Daijiro, who accidentally watches her pee and then gives her his muddy fruit, which ends up kind of sweet and endearing, actually.
But awkward, but yeah.
Tetsu also gets a huge crush on another wrestler, Tokachi. So, Tetsu and Daijiro think these women sumo wrestlers are just the coolest shit ever. And they decide to help them out with distributing flyers and drumming up excitement for the tournament, while also championing their own causes.
No, women sumo for the proletariat.
Yeah!
Women sumo for the working class.
Yeah! Ooh, but trouble is afoot. Army veteran Daigoro and his vigilantes aren't too keen on having a bunch of women in town doing whatever they please. Especially because they suspect some of the wrestlers to be Koreans.
Ooh, and that they're hanging out with socialists.
So Daigoro storms into their practice space and takes Tokachi away, basically just because she's Korean. They take her to what looks like an old abandoned jail in the woods and just start beating the shit out of her, demanding she pledges her allegiance to the emperor. Tetsu and Daijiro find out and rush to her aid. Tetsu swinging a pickaxe at Daigoro like he's fucking Leon Trotsky or some shit. Some stuff happens. They end up escaping to go buy some bombs in Korea, leaving Kiku behind, which she doesn't seem too happy about. I don't want to give away too much detail, so I'll just say I'm really surprised she didn't get eaten by sharks.
All right. The movie then jumps to the year 1924, and everything starts going to shit. Tetsu and Daijiro have returned to Japan. Tetsu gets arrested, and Daijiro goes looking for Kiku and finds Keiji, one of the other Guillotine Society members who had escaped the cops. And Keiji has bombs. And then out of nowhere, Kiku's asshole secondhand husband shows up, and then everything gets way fucked up. And the end of the movie is fucking brutal. We don't want to spoil it for you other than what we spoiled already.
Yeah.
So we'll just leave it at that. But we definitely recommend that you watch it. We do want to warn that there is a scene involving sexual assault, so it's not very long. It's really easy to skip if you need to. It's available on YouTube for like $4 to rent in HD or $10 to own. No, they did not pay us to say that. That's just how we bought it. Maybe it is on Prime. I think it's like $5 on Prime if you'd rather Prime it.
Okay.
So,
We're sure you can find it on the internet somewhere.
Yeah. So it really was a fucking brutal movie to watch. Or an awesome movie if you really like getting attached to characters and then watching horrible things happen to them. And some good news, Akamas eventually kills himself when Japan loses World War II, but only after becoming a fascist icon.
Oh, bastard. You know, I think it was really interesting to get a glimpse into how women's sumo operated during that period.
Yeah.
I had no idea that women's sumo even had such strong representation in the 20th century at all. We've even tried researching it because we do eventually want to do an episode on women in sumo. And if you're listening and you're a woman who does sumo, please get in contact with us. But it's been very hard to find any definitive information on it outside of, female sumo wrestlers were basically just strippers and hookers, lol. Which I'm sure that sex workers probably did do sumo for the entertainment of their clients, but that's just because everyone was doing sumo just to pass the time, you know, especially in the countryside. It's like kids who get together to play baseball these days or something. Yeah. I'm sure the washerwomen and housewives would also get together for a round or two of sumo when they were bored. One thing I do know probably has a huge impact on women's sumo, past and present, is this expectation that is put on women to be thin and dainty and never ever gain weight. And if you are a woman who does sumo, it can be hard to grapple, no pun intended, with that expectation versus trying to sculpt a powerful sumo body. And for women who don't do sumo, even if they are interested in it, that is probably one of the main reasons why they never try it. They're told their whole lives that if they don't look waifish, then nobody will ever love them. And that can be a powerful mental block to get over. And that's likely one of the reasons we didn't see more women competing in nationals.
Just let women do sumo.
Yeah, just let women do sumo.
Seriously, if you're interested in doing sumo, if you wanted to email us or hit us up on social media, we can put you in touch with women sumo wrestlers if you would rather, talk to someone directly. So, yeah, hit us up if you're interested.
Yes, absolutely. There are so many different sumo clubs across the U.S. who are looking for women who are interested in sumo.
Actively.
We actually just got finished recording an interview with the Oyakata of a sumo club up in New York, who said he's looking for women to join his team. I know Dallas Sumo Club is as well, and a lot of different places. And let's not forget all of the badass women across the U.S. and the rest of the world who are already doing sumo and killing it. So if you're one of the ladies and you want to try sumo, definitely hit us up. We'll help you out.
All right, and that's the show. So if you want to talk shit to us or, tell us things. Or talk nice to us. We're on the social medias at Sumo Punx, except for Twitter. We are at Punx Sumo. If you wanted to get in touch with us, trying to get in touch with other sumo clubs, please include where you are from, and we will try to put you in touch with whoever we could find that is closest to you.
Yes, we also have an email address. It's just sumopunx@gmail.com.
Always with an X.
Yes.
All right, so that's our show. Next week begins Basho coverage, so we are fucking excited.
Yeah.
Shit's gonna hit the fan. Fucking things are gonna happen. Stars are gonna fall out of the sky. Cats and dogs living together. Mass hysteria.
Yeah, so definitely stick around for that. And thank you so much for listening to this episode.